Hello, I'm Gabe Burdett, and the video you're about to watch is the collection of the first 3 lessons that I do after we complete lesson 11 in the syncopation book. These are the first 3 lessons that include 16th notes played between 8th notes on the drum set. We start with the rap beat that includes some E and Uz snares, and then we move to a couple of other beats that have some other 16th note snares. And then we move to a collection of punk rock beats that include offbeat bass drums. So stay tuned. We're going to have some fun. We are starting off with the rap beat. And in the rap beat, we start with 8 X's. And then we place a kick drum, a hi-hat, a snare, a hi-hat, a kick drum, do a snare drum, and a hi-hat. And then we connect these two together. Okay. Now this should actually look familiar. If you were to play this right now, it is the standard rock beat. When we learn the standard rock beat, we know that this is counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. In lesson 11, we learned that there are 16th notes that live between these 8th notes. So E lives between 1 and, lives between the and 2. So E, 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 and so on. And if you can get familiar with seeing those, you will have a grid of 16 even though you only see 8. So we're going to add in 2. We're going to add in this and this E. And we're going to draw in snare drums that live by themselves. Now, the way it's written currently, these are 8th notes, these are 8th notes. This now looks like a quarter note. And it can't be a quarter note, otherwise it would be all of beat 3, it'd be a big note. So we know that this has to be attached to either beat 2 or beat 3. And because we have counted this before, 1E and a, 2E and a, we don't actually get to beat 3 until we say 3. So this is tied in to beat 2. And it used to, this and used to be a long note. 1/8 note equals 2 16th notes. So this 2 is an 8th note, and it takes up the 2 and the E. It's worth 2 16th notes. But now this and, which was long enough to get us to the 3, is only long enough to get us to the And this is only long enough to get us to the 3, which means these are both 16th notes. So I need to add an extra line to show that those are 16th notes. Similarly, this E took value away from beat 3. So now I have to tie the first 2 of these together to show that they are both short notes. One additional thing we're going to do is we're going to circle these 2 new snare drums that we did. And circled notes are ghost notes. And they're played 1 inch above the drum head. So they're really short notes. That's going to add some dynamics. These will be loud, these will be quiet, these will be loud. Now counting this, 1 and 2 and a 3E and 4 and 1 and 2 and a 3E and 4 and. Pause it right now and Try this out. See if you can get it. So hopefully you gave that a shot, and maybe you did really good. Maybe you crashed and burned. Let's talk really quickly about some other things about what we're given here. This stuff here that's at the top, if I take and cover up all of the notes at the bottom, you'll see at the top 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 and. Now, the only reason that we know that this is beat 2 is because we've determined that this is one group, this is the second group, that's the third group, that's the fourth group. So we actually came up with the idea that this is beat 2. So this is how we're counting it. And counting it is just a way for us to understand these lines that are, some are fast and some are slower. And this is actually what is referred to as syncopation. So we learned about syncopation in lesson 11. This is what that is. So now, this part up here, I wrote in, but we don't need to have that in order to be able to read music. But this top part is our count. How do you count this beat, right? Syncopation, that's this top part. This area here is known as our arrangement. Where are we playing these? These could be toms, could be snares, could be bass drums, could be triangles, could be anything that incorporates this rhythm. If you learn to play guitar, this would all be different notes on the guitar, but the rhythm would be the same. So these X's for the hi-hats, these snare drums, and these bass drums are our arrangement. That's how we're choosing to play this. One other thing that we can figure out is our sticking. Now, our sticking can be different. We would play this on the drum set, or sorry, as a fill or on the snare drum as right, left, right, right, left, right, left, right, right, left. But here we're playing it on the drum set. So we have hi-hats. Hi-hats are played with the right hand. This is a snare drum and a hi-hat, so I'm going to put a B for both. The and is a right. This is a snare drum by itself, so that's going to be a left hand by itself. The right hand on beat 3, E, and 4, and. Now I'm going to add a K here for a kick drum, and then there is a kick drum here and a kick drum here. This part is fast. Right, right, both, right, left, right, both, right. Right, right, both, right, left, right, both, right. One of the exercises that I like to do is to have you play just the right, left, right on the hi-hat, nice and relaxed. Right, left, right. And then move the left hand down to the snare drum. Right, left, right. And listen to the difference between those two sounds, but try and have your hands play exactly that same pattern. Right, left, right. Now, pay attention to the way the hi-hat is being played. Right. Da, 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 da. Right, left, right. And on the second and third hi-hats of that 5-note pattern, include the bass drum. Right, left, kick. Right, left, kick, which is what we have here. Right, left, kick. This should be really relaxed and real easy. Right, both, right, left, both, right. So it technically is the standard rock beat plus 2 snare drums, but it's going to sound completely different. It's going to feel completely different. So give that a shot. And just remember that this counting is something that you can add when you're reading a beat, and you can add the sticking and figure out the sticking based off of which instruments we're playing and which hands we prefer to play those instruments with. And that will take some of the confusion out of reading some of these beats that are a little more complex. And remember that this is still 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 and. When in doubt, count it out. Our next beat is going to be Hard to Handle by the Black Crowes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This beat is exactly the same as the rap beat, minus 2 hits. One and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. Compared to the rap beat has a bass drum on beat 3 and a snare drum on the E of 3. Otherwise, this beat and this beat are the same. Now, Hard to Handle gets played with a little more attitude. We're going to play these 4 hi-hats, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The downbeats we're going to play with more power. So if it is an X that is accented, we're going to play that with the side of stick on the hi-hat. And if it is an X, we're going to play the tip of stick on the hi-hat. Side tip, side tip, side tip, side tip. And that's going to give us the energy to play Hard to Handle. This one, I'm going to do the country rock beat plus the snare drum from the E of 3 from the rap beat. So this used the from the rap beat. This one is using the E. And this is not, neither one of these will be ghost noted because we're not circling them. 1 and 2 and 3 E, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 E, 4 and. A really, really useful pattern. Now, the next few beats are going to be part of the punk plus 1 kick grouping. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we're going to start off with a bunch of punk rock beats. With these punk plus 1 kicks, we're going to do, instead of adding a hand between our hi-hats, we're going to add a bass drum between our hi-hats. And the first one we're going to add is the of 1. It's going to be a bass drum by itself here. Kick, hat kick, snare. Boom, tsk, boom, blop. 1 and 2. And these are going to be important to count so that you know how to pace these. One common thread with all of these beats is your hi-hat should chug along 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, unaffected by how any of these bass drums are added or any of the snare drums are added. All of the beats on this page have straight eighth note hi-hats. So this is a kick drum on the of 1. The next kick drum we'll do, let's do this kick drum. We'll do the E of 3. And technically you could add a bass drum on any of the in-between notes, the E's and the U's. But these are the ones I'm going to do. And then up here, let's do the the E of 4. So this is going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. This is going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And this one is going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1. Now notice I'm going 4 E and I'm whispering the hi-hats, and I'm giving low pitches for the kick drums and high pitches for the snare drums. That way when I count these, it sounds like what I want it to sound like, or I'm expecting it to sound like because of where the low notes and the high notes are. This fourth one, we're going to have fun. We're actually going to do a mashup of all of them. We're going to take the of 1. We'll take the E of 3 and the E of 4 to make a complex looking beat. But technically in here it is still the punk rock beat. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 E. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 E. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 E. 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 E and 4 E and 1. And that concludes this side of the page. Now I'm going to give you the envelope groove, what I refer to as my $250,000, $500,000, $750,000, and my $1 million beats. I will kind of go through these quickly, and one thing to note is that they are only half long. You repeat it for the second half. So we're going to go like this: 1 E and 2 and. This is the $250,000 beat. So we play this as a right hand, right hand, both right, right, left, right, both right, right, left, right, both right. And we put a bass drum here and 1 in the hole. So 1 E and 2 and. Make sure this right is all by itself when you play this. 1 E and 2 and 3 E and 4 and 1 E and 2 and 3 E and 4 and. The next beat that we talk about is the $500,000 beat. It is exactly the same first half. And then here, instead of being a hi-hat by itself, it is a kick followed by a snare drum, which is actually a repeating of the first two notes. So if you count this, give this one an extra little goose. 1E and a 2 and a 3E and a 4 and a 1E and a 2 and a 3E and a 4. Kick, snare, hat, kick, snare, kick, snare, hat, kick, snare, kick, snare, hat, kick, snare. The $750,000 beat, which this is really the one to work on. I just kind of include these next couple because if I make $1 million playing music, it's going to will be because of this one beat that I will write here. But you get to it from this beat. The only difference here is we have an extra snare drum on the and. So we're playing kick, snare, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare. And it just has a really great sound. The $1 million beat is kind of funky in that the hi-hat is now going to be played by the left foot. And this is extra credit. If you decide you want to try and chew on this beat, feel free. But this is extra credit because it's my $1 million beat. So here we have the hi-hat being played with the left foot. The right hand plays half as many. So it's just playing 1, 2, 3, 4, usually on the bell of the ride cymbal. The left hand and bass drum play exactly the same thing that it was playing in the $750,000 beat. So these beats are really, really similar, but they're just played with a little different attitude and they look pretty different. So right, left, left, both, left, right, 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 left, both, left, right, left, both, left, right, left, both, left, right, left, both. While the left foot is playing eighth notes on the hi-hat and the right hand is playing quarter notes on the ride cymbal. Anyway, this one is just kind of extra credit. It's the one that I do immediately after the page that includes the rap beat and hard to handle. And this particular rhythm is one to really kind of know, because if you play this on the toms, instead of playing it between the hi-hat and the snare, you will have one of the most versatile and most used drum fills that you can have. It's powerful because the bass drum plays in weird spots. So instead of just playing a regular fill with the bass drums landing on 1, 2, 3, and 4, this puts the bass drums in between the hands and makes it sound very complex, even though the rhythm itself is not complex. So because we only have a right, a left, and a foot, we only have so many combinations that we can make. And so we try to maximize the versatility, and this is one of those rhythms, right, left, right foot, both. This rhythm right here is one of the most versatile rhythms that you will ever learn. So hope that was really helpful, and enjoy.